The first date, yo, you know what why we playing? Why we playing? We need to be
First date.
When you gonna marry me? Like what? Whoa, they ain't even brought the appetizer out yet. Hey guys, we're back with another video. Enough said, meet the Simmons. So today we got a video from Crew Season, talking about something that I think is very important for ladies to understand and know about men. Ready?
Let's get to it.
Let's jump right into it here.
Take a man a lot of time to figure out what his intentions are with you. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. Like, men categorize women very, very quickly. Oftentimes, just right upon meeting you, if we're going to be honest. Like, because before we walk up and introduce ourselves, or, you know, we meet mutually or whatever the case may be, we already have developed a profile on you. And social media makes that 10 times easier, right? I can just go to your page and, okay, look at the type of pictures you post, or, you know, the type of Instagram stories that you post, and be like, damn, okay, she kind of thirsty for attention. Or, you know, she real low-key, she ain't really tripping on the attention. Or, you know, she always traveling, she always doing this, always doing that, right? So all of these things go into our memory bank and create this profile of you.
Lady. Well, we've been married so long, I met her before social media. However, he is absolutely correct. Absolutely spot on, 100% correct. And I don't understand why women can't get this. So I'm gonna ask you, I'm gonna put the ball in your court. Like, a man knows what he's gonna do with you. Like, I knew that I was gonna marry you before I even met you. I just knew it. I just knew it. It was something inside of me that just rose up, and I knew it. And I would say probably 7 out of 10 couples that we do premarital for, the man will say, yeah, I knew I was gonna marry her, like, on the first date. Or I knew, you know, after a week of talking to her that I was gonna marry her. Like, we know. So all these 10-year engagements, that's bullcrap. I'm sorry, fellas, I'm calling you out. All this is bullcrap. All this, yeah, I'm thinking about, you know, we 5 years in, you know, a man knows. He already know what category you're in. So as a woman, what do you think about what he said here?
Oh, I agree. This reminded me, like, in the beginning when we were dating, I remember you saying that you knew, you said that God told you that I was your wife. Like, immediately, like, yeah. You knew that. But then what you did was you set to the task of kind of watching how I treated people. Yeah, you started, like, talking to, like, my coworkers. You you watched how I treated just people. Like, we would go out to grab a bite, like how I interacted with different people. So you were like he said, building that profile. You started doing that early on. So when he was talking, I was like, oh yeah, like, that kind of reminds me of in the beginning, how we were, or like, you even, like, told me, like, yeah.
And I think this kind of, I just thought about this. I think this kind of why a lot of women don't understand why their reputation should matter.
Yeah.
It does matter. It really does. And men, you know, we are who we are. And one thing that I was very impressed of about her was that how all the dudes that talked about her, they were like, yeah, you know, because we're on a military installation, and when there's a new girl that comes on this installation that's cute, you know, all the guys talk about it, but they were talking about her in a way that was respectful, which is not something that's normally done for a woman that is not respectable.
Right.
And it's a double standard. I know it's not right, but this is the way men think. And for me, that was a green flag for me, because I knew she wasn't giving it up to every dude on the base. As a matter of fact, she was doing the exact opposite. She was shooting dudes down left and right because they weren't meeting her standard. And that was very intriguing to me, especially for a woman that I felt like I was going to marry. And so when I finally did, you know, meet her and we interacted and we got to hang out, I was very impressed by her character. I was very impressed by how she carried herself. And if she had been one of those girls that had a reputation, probably would have turned me off. Probably would have, you know, she probably would have went into another category, which for the most part, men have 2 categories. It's wives, and it's like all the other stuff, like fun girl, home girl, all sorts of stuff. But a wife goes into a whole different category. And I know it's not right, ladies. I acknowledge that, but it is what it is. And we are what we are. And so if a man is dragging you along or stringing you along and saying, oh, you got to prove this, you got to prove that, that man is not trying to marry you. That's the truth. And fellas, y'all gotta stop lying to these women. Y'all, you know you're not trying to marry. You're not trying to marry that girl, or you're not trying to, or you don't see her in that light yet. You're trying your best to get what you can out of her and string her along for as long as you can, and then at some point you may relent, or most of the time you won't.
I agree.
Yeah. What do you think as a woman? Like, what would you say to a young lady who feels like she may be getting strung along? What advice would you give her?
I would ask her if the relationship has ever been identified. Like, what are y'all calling the relationship? Has he ever come out and said, this is what it is? Have you ever come out and said, well, what are we? Like, what do y'all identify yourselves as? I would ask, like, what status? Like, what do you tell your parents? What do you tell your friends? How are you identifying the relationship? So,
and I think a lot of women, they get gun shy. Like, they're scared if they ask that question that he's gonna cut them loose, or he's gonna well, he probably already has. Like, he's just there. Because when you actually asked me that, I forgot how many dates we were in. Like, what are we? You asking what our status was, because a man controls access to the status of the relationship. We're not boyfriend and girlfriend until I say we are. You know, that's kind of how it works. It's like we don't have sex until you say we have sex. It's kind of the way it works. And so you straight up asked me, and did I stutter?
No,
I didn't, because I was sure of that. So if you get to the point, ladies, and a man's giving you that him and haw stuff, that's your answer. Don't try to fit a round peg into a square hole. You're only going to end up hurt.
To answer your question, I would say to the young lady, definitely value yourself enough where you ask that question. And like you said, if you're not getting the answer that you're needing, or the answer that you're looking for, then your answer may be, the relationship may be going to, coming to a close, or y'all maybe need to have another conversation and really put it out on the table and have a clear and concise conversation about it. What are we? What is this relationship? Where do you see it going? I would like to build something with you, but where do you see this going? And I need you to give me a solid answer.
And don't make it creepy though, ladies. The first date, why we playing? Why we playing? We need to be
first date.
When you go marry me, like what? Whoa, they ain't even brought the appetizer out yet. A lot of church girls get real creepy with that stuff. Like the Lord told me, no, girl, if you don't stop, you out here lying on God. Anyway, but I think there is after a certain amount of time, and I don't really know what that time frame is. I would say for me, and for a lot of men that I know, generally speaking, about a year after you meet that girl and you know what you're gonna do with her, they generally start talking about marriage. That's kind of we were married almost a year to the day that we met, and a lot of my friends have been married for a long time. It's in my age group. That's about the time that they got married. It wasn't like no 2-3 year engagements. It wasn't no 5-6 years and stuff like that. A lot of the men that I know that have been married for a long time and there are good men and good husbands, they got their wife off the market pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And so, I'm not saying that that's something that you have to do, but I am saying that it's unfair to tie somebody up for years and years and years if you know you're not going to marry that woman. Or if you guys are having some serious issues, it's not going to get easier with marriage. And so why tie somebody up or allow yourself to be tied up for 5, 6, 7 years? Imagine if you meet somebody at 30 and you with that person for 7 years and you lost 7 years of finding the right person.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
It's a long time.
I don't know. But I thought this was a good video.
Yeah, it is. I like preseason.
Yeah, I really liked them. What'd you think? You thought it was prudent? Like this?
Yeah, it's true. I think sometimes we as women don't like to admit that you menfolk, you creatures are truly as logical as you truly are. You guys are really brilliant and you actually are very logical, but we don't like to admit that, I think sometimes. I love you.
Well, I love you too. And with that, that's enough said.